From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's Wash Talk.
Welcome to Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guests are Cameron Ray from Sparkle Express Car Wash and Noel Pena from Digital Recognition Network. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Brian, for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I appreciate you guys coming in. We got a lot of good content to cover today. I want to talk about marketing.
Super excited.
And Noel's business is about data. Your business is about washing cars. You guys work together, and I'd like to kind of know, how does data help you market to the people in your market areas to sell car washes?
Well, that's a great question, Brian, and thank you for asking. So historically, marketing in the car wash space has always been about, hey, let's do direct mailers or let's do, some type of geo-fencing that just basically tries to cast a wide net out over a general mile radius away from your location, which has historically done fairly well. But in most recently, it's exciting to be able to now target customers based on what Noel and DRN are bringing to the market. And that is basically strategic marketing that allows us to just look specifically at customers that are passing by directly in front of our location.
Now, how does that work at your washes?
It works great because now we're able to essentially look at customers that are directly passing by our washes that we know who we or where we are. So it's easier for us to target people based on the fact that they're passing by our locations or they know exactly where we are, as opposed to just trying to cast a net out over a space and hoping they're able to find you.
So you're capturing the license plates of people that are driving by, and then you're getting data. What does that data look like? Like, what do you look for in that data? How are you using it?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think every day I look at the data and I'm surprised to see more and more of what DRN is bringing to the market. Very actionable data that allows us to look at the number of vehicles in the driveway, median household income, verified direct mail addresses, which that's a game changer, because now instead of just saying, hey, I think you live here, or last known address is this, we're able to look at a direct mail score that says other people have found you at this address, and now we can target you as well. And we know for a fact that is verifiable, and that's where you're going to be. So it's easier for us to find those customers. Interesting.
So, are you targeting everybody that drives by?
That's a great question. Absolutely not.
Okay.
We found that using DRN's data has allowed us to take more of a strategic approach. Instead of just marketing to everybody that pass by the location, we can look at how many times you pass by. What is your mailing address in terms of distance away from the location? What's the average age of your vehicle that you're driving? How many other cars do you have in the driveway? So now we're able to strategically target people based on a host of different parameters, as opposed to just saying, hey, you pass by us or you live within this mile radius from the location.
So now when you look at who your customers are currently at your washes, are you utilizing kind of like what that profile is to help identify prospects that are passing by?
That's a great question, Brian. And historically, no, we have not been, and no car wash operators really have, because you didn't have that. You didn't have the capability or the ability. You knew who your customers were based on when they signed up. I'm going to capture your license plate. But now we're able to take the partnership with DRN and say, okay, hey, if we look at how many customers are going through our member only lane and who our actual customers are that we're targeting, now we can go out and say, hey, our customer makes on average this much money per year, lives this far away from the location, drives this average age of vehicle, and lives in this zip code. So now we're able to target our marketing efforts strategically more so to people that are our customers, because we know based on our membership base and the customers that are already signed up and members of our unlimited monthly club plan, we know who we need to be targeting.
No, Noel, do you guys help car washes when they first get involved? Do you help them to figure out how to do all the things that Cameron's doing now?
Absolutely. When Cameron and I first met, one of the challenges was, and he's an industry veteran, he's been around, he's done it all, and he's been able to kind of play around with all the solutions that were in the market. One of the challenges was, generalized marketing to generalized audiences, right? He wanted to find a solution that would isolate an audience down to a membership that he's trying to fit, right? And to his point earlier, generalized geofence marketing, which has its fill in the market, wasn't giving him or any other car wash operator the ability to fine tune that message, right? Like, the first thing marketing 101 is, who is my audience? Who is my customer? The second one is, how do I convey a message to that customer. If I don't know who the customer is, I don't know what message goes to the market, right? We talked about earlier before this meet, case in point example, if I'm trying to target a customer and they're not going to meet my profile, an offer doesn't matter. It's sort of like sending a free ice cream to somebody that's lactose intolerant. I need to understand that it's going to fit their needs as a subscriber to the service, and it's going to fit my needs as a business owner, car wash owner.
So, like, can you take us behind the curtain, Cameron? I want to go behind the curtain in your marketing. Talk a little bit about what you're doing now. I mean, all the way from identifying who it is, how do you come up with the message to send to them? And then how are you delivering it? Is it mail? Is it digital? Like, can you kind of walk us through your process?
All great questions, Brian, and thank you for asking that. And absolutely. So right now, currently, we are excited to announce that we've just had one of our most successful marketing campaigns since Sparkle's inception, and that was through the partnership with DRN and a direct mail partner that they also have chosen to partner with. And from that, we were able to send out over 330,000 direct mailers to potential targeted customers. And of that audience, we saw nearly an 8% response rate, which we all know industry standard in direct mail is like 1 to 3%. So being able to say, okay, hey, we're able to get an 8% redemption rate. And of that 8%, 2% of those customers went on and signed up for club plan memberships after redeeming a free wash, which, in terms of revenue generates over $100,000 for Sparkle in terms of lifetime member value for those customers that converted over due to the free wash mailer that we sent out. So right now we have active DRN cameras at 18 of our 19 stores, and we're capturing as much data as we can on people that are passing by, driving by our locations, and of that, we're filtering them out to how many times they pass by, what is their median household income, how many vehicles they have in the driveway, and if they meet all of those specifications, we then send them a free wash offer. And actually, it's a tandem offer for free wash and a unlimited club plan membership, because that's like me going out on a date with somebody and proposing on the first date. Hey, why don't we get married? Well, instead, why don't you take this free wash and let's date for a little bit and see what I can do for you as a retail customer. And hopefully, we can do enough to go ahead and convince that customer to come on board and sign up for a club plan membership. So that's the exciting thing about DRN. They give us a platform to drive customers to our lot. And as long as I can get them on the lot, then I'm depending on my people to go ahead and close those transactions and convert those people over to monthly membership customers.
So with your direct mail, how far out will you go? I mean, because you mentioned, like, everything you mentioned was how frequently they drive by, like that they have the right income, that they have the right vehicles, but you didn't talk about distance.
Yeah, because, and why I didn't talk about distance, Brian? Because what Noel and DRN have allowed us to do is strategically target. For instance, I have 5 locations that are in central Illinois. And if I went 3.5 miles out like I do in rural Chicago, then I probably wouldn't capture very many. So at some of our stores, we're going as far as 12.5 to 15 miles out based on how many times you pass by the location. And then we've got locations in more urban areas that we say, hey, 3.5, miles is a far enough cast of a net for us to be able to capture people from that mile radius from the location.
Interesting. So I mean, really, it doesn't matter if they live nearby or not. It matters if they drive by.
It matters if they drive by, and that's exactly what we saw. How many times are you driving by? Do you have disposable income that says, yeah, you're able to be a club plan member for us? And again, what's that average age of that vehicle? On average, our club plan members are driving vehicles less than 8 years old. So if I am able to target somebody 7 years or newer in a vehicle that's 7 years old or younger or newer, should I say? Then we feel like that it gives us a bit of a sweet spot, and we're right in the middle there for the customer who we want to target based on the need to keep the vehicle clean, the need to want to retain longer value of their vehicle, and that all comes from being an unlimited club plan customer and keeping the vehicle cleaner, drier, shinier, and then ultimately driving more trade-in value when you do want to go in and trade up.
Now, do you actually, that's interesting. So do you actually include that in your messaging that by keeping your car neater, cleaner, drier, that it'll increase your trade-in value when you trade it in?
We absolutely do. And I mean, now we all know that, we're in, who knows what these economic times are going to be. So, a lot of people have figured out that if you keep a vehicle longer and you care for it better, then it is going to drive longer vehicle value. And a lot of times it makes it think about even wanting to trade it in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a perfect example of that. I drive a 2017 Toyota 4Runner with 90,000 miles on it. And I joined the car wash club because I didn't want it to rust because I live right by the ocean. Mm-hmm. And, so I make sure I wash it at least twice a month. That way, because it looks brand new.
And let me ask you, what feels better, driving by the dealership, not having to go trade it in or go pay a new car note, or driving to your unlimited car wash membership where you're able to get a clean, dry, shiny car?
Oh, I'd much rather pay I don't even know what my subscription is. I think it's like $35. I'd much rather pay $35. I haven't had a car payment in a long time.
Thank you. And that's a new marketing message that we're going to bring into the car wash. Why pay for a car note when you can pay for a monthly membership?
Yep.
I love it.
Yep. Yep, and if it gets dirty, you vacuum it out. They got the bug pre-spot thing now, and I mean, wow.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
So
they even got a towel exchange program. I have never used it, but
at Sparkle, we absolutely give away free waffle weave towels, custom branded, when people sign up for a membership. So it's like you say, we want to drive those amenities, and we want to give them more of a reason to not only sign up, but to stay enrolled.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
So Noel, I'd like to talk to you about some of the tactics that Cameron brought up. When you bring a new wash on, I mean, is that a hard thing to get them to understand that maybe it's not about how far away the person lives from you, but how frequently they drive by?
For Cameron, it was easy because he'd already done other type of marketing and understands the market and how to reach traffic. What we looked at was, to his point, right, it depends on the area. Because a lot of times, say a geofence, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but let's use as an example, a lot of people isolate that down to 3 to 5 mile radius. Mm-hmm. But what's not considered is commuter traffic. People are still having to go to the office. They're still having to commute. They're going to the soccer games. They're going to church. They're going to the grocery store. They're going somewhere, right? Sometimes those places are beyond that threshold of that fencing. And that's an opportunity that's lost for those car washes. And Cameron obviously is smart enough to understand that there is a good group of qualified buyers that meet that demographic, that 7 years or younger vehicle, and the household income, the multiple vehicles, etc. Those people were still driving by his wash 2 or 3 times a week, but yet they're 10, 12, 15 miles away. So they're still a qualified buyer. So to answer your question, yes, originally, sometimes it's difficult if someone hasn't had that, bitter taste in their mouth from trying to do marketing outside of that realm. But once they understand, what we focus in on is traffic that's relevant to your business. We always talk about it. We want car washes to be the convenience store of their life, right? It's somewhere that's easy to get to. Mm-hmm. They're not going out of their way to do it. They can commit to the monthly subscription because they know there's value. They're a frequent passer of that location, and it builds into the community. So originally, a lot of conversations go around to that point of what were you currently doing. When Cameron and I first met, we talked about the different challenges. We were trying to figure out, where do we plug the solution in? How can we solve some of those problems? And what we're solving for is traffic that's right in front of the business, and giving them all of the ammunition to be able to target those people.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk a little bit about what you just said there, Noel, because that's all great points. Because historically, being 25 plus years in this industry, Brian, there's been 3 things that car wash operators have been known to do. We do direct mail ads, which we just partner with the direct mail vendor and say, hey, send out umpteen thousand or whatever to this zip code. Or secondly, we look at meta ads, which meta ads are great, but what's my target audience? Like Noel said, if I just say, hey, I want 20,000 impressions, Meta's going to get me 20,000 impressions, but is that the same thing as what DRN is delivering? And then lastly, you will go out with geofencing. And geofencing it can be really, really advantageous, but car wash is now becoming more and more saturated in most markets throughout the country. And what that means is, if I'm convenient for you 6 months ago, there may be a competitor that just built right next door to you. So am I going to go try to market to somebody 3.5, 4, 5 miles away, knowing that they never pass by my location? Yeah. They don't know where I'm at, and I'm inconvenient because they have to drive across, 3 natural barriers and a couple of freeways to get to me, and those people just are not coming. So essentially what we were able to do with DRN and Noel's platform is take a deeply curated list of over 330,000 people that fit into actionable potential clients. They drive by, they make this much, they have this many cars in the driveway. So now, instead of just doing a blank crapshoot, we're able to really look at it and say, hey, where do we feel like the meat and potatoes of our customer, of our clientele base is? And when we're able to target those people, this is, again, I've done direct mail campaigns for years and years and years and never had more than a 2.5% redemption rate. And now to go to 8%, and we're just scratching the surface, because 8%, and then how many more club plan members do we stand to gain from having this retail traffic that came into our location just because, hey, you tried a free wash and now we did our job and we converted those people. And not only do you want to turn them into the club plan members, because that's absolutely the goal, but some people are just going to be, long-term retail customers. And either way, we're able to target that list and say, okay, hey, either you're going to fit into one or two buckets, either a long-term member or a club plan member or a long-term retail customer. Either way, DRN is allowing us to go out and target those potential customers.
Wow. So, I hadn't thought about that the first time you said it, but on 330,000 mailers, 8% of them took a free car wash. That's like, what, 26,400 free car washes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of traffic.
And another 2% of that 8% converted. So we got over 535 club plan members, which again, average lifetime value is over $250. So essentially we were able to generate over $130,000 in long-term member revenue from our partnership with DRN, which by the way, just recently started. So we're super excited to see these early stage results and so much looking forward to the future.
Wow. Actually, I want to share a funny story with you. I had another car wash owner sitting in that seat, and he has a bunch of washes, and they're all like in the same little area. And he was talking about the idea of that that it's not about how close you are in proximity, because his own wife had joined another car wash because it was on her drive.
Yep.
And he's like, I have a wash 2 roads over, but she would have to make 2 left turns. So he's like, Here she owns all these washes, and she's using somebody else's because it's like on the ride home from picking up the kids.
My VP of operations, his wife is signed up at a neighboring car wash because she's like, honey, you're on the other side of the street and it's just too hard for me to get to you. So therefore, I'm a member over here. I still love you guys and what you're doing, but you're not convenient for me. And we see that all the time.
Yeah. So, it really is. It is more important, how frequently they go by than if they live nearby.
Absolutely, it is.
Well, guys, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today?
For us, we just like to let everybody know that DRN wasn't just a marketing partner in this thing. They were very strategic in helping us get it stood up, being able to target, filtering out the options, and just say, hey, how granular do you want to get? And that's the thing us for the 330,000 was not an easy grab. I would say that we have 4 to 5 times more data, more license plates that were actually scanned, but the 330 is where we felt like the meat and potatoes were. So again, for us, having a strategic marketing partner that's going to allow us to continue to grow, going to allow us to continue to scale is super exciting. And for Sparkle, the sky's the limit and where we go with DRN.
Well, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Noel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Noel.
Thanks, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for taking the time to join us for this professional car washing and detailing's Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guests have been Cameron Ray from Sparkle Express Car Wash and Noel Pena from Digital Recognition Network. We hope to see you again on a future episode.